Welcome everyone to the Cream Real Estate Investors. If you're new to the channel, the Cream stands for Cash Flow, Real Estate, and Money. My name is Dave Payerchin. I have RJ Pepino by my side, and we are full-time real estate investors and entrepreneurs. We have over 15 years experience and have completed over 1,000 real estate transactions. We actively own, control, and manage a real estate portfolio. We buy over 100 properties every year, and we know how to make money in real estate no matter what is going on in the market or the economy. Our goal is to add value and help you on your path to successful real estate investing. We do this every single day, and it's our pleasure to be able to share our experiences with you and help you on your journey. You can find us on Instagram using our names at RJ Pepino and at The Real Dave P, and then on TikTok at The Real RJ Pepino. Make sure you like this video if it provides some value or inspires any new ideas. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to turn notifications on so you can stay updated with our newest content when it comes out. Feel free to leave any questions you may have in the comments so we can all continue to grow together. If you'd like to take an even deeper dive, visit us online at www.risewiththecream.com. That's where you'll find our trainings as well as resources to further help you take your real estate investing business to the next level. We have a great video for you today. And of course, we are very grateful you are here with us. And RJ, what are we getting into today, sir?
Well, we have a special guest today, and it's a friend, right? And who's helped us open up these lovely self-directed IRAs at Quest IRA. And we have Mr. Derek Long, and he's going to be talking about why we should be opening up self-directed IRAs in today's market, today's times. And I'm excited because I have one, but we're also considering opening up some other, like what we call them, financial instruments, because that's what they are. They're a good way to place your money, right? And become your own bank, become financially responsible, because your money in a bank right now is actually losing money. So here we have Derek Long. He's going to talk to us about how to invest in self-directed IRAs, or what to do with your money and how to put it in a self-directed IRA so you can self-direct that into what we like to do is real estate.
So first off, thank you, RJ. First off, Derek, why is an IRA a good place to do business?
Well, guys, first off, thanks so much for having me on your guys' show. You know, I love working with you guys. I've worked with the Cream Group now for a little over a year, and both of you and your team and anyone who's always come to you, I've seen a lot of success come through. And it's really unique to see all the things you guys have just done, just real estate alone in the last year, even during the pandemic. So if someone's blaming the pandemic and they can't make money, they're not in the right industry. So I always start off by letting people know there's two types of entities out there. There's a taxable entity and a non-taxable entity. You're a taxable entity. Anytime you make profit, you have to pay taxes on it, right? Whether it's your LLC, your S Corp, C Corp trust, doesn't matter. When you make money, you have to pay taxes. Believe it or not, the IRS gives us non-taxable entities, things like a nonprofit organization, a church, a hospital. But for today's thing, we're going to be talking about IRAs. More importantly, self-directed IRAs.
And what does the IRA stand for?
Individual retirement account. Right?
So can I just go open an IRA with the bank, or can I just go open an IRA with TD Ameritrade and invest in the stock market?
Yeah, absolutely you can. And so almost any type of banking institution is going to be able to set you up an IRA, right? But what you have to ask yourself is what you want to invest in.
Correct.
So if you want to do public assets, you go to a public company. Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, Merrill Lynch, they'll set you up an IRA, and you can only invest in public style assets like stocks, bonds, CDs, mutual funds. Other custodians, like the one I work with, Quest Trust Company, Quest will let you set up an IRA, but you can only invest in private assets like real estate. Now, don't think that one is better than the other. They're just different. If I want to buy Apple stock, I have to go to Fidelity. And if I want to buy real estate, I have to come to Quest. Knowing this, Let's use our non-taxable entity, the entity to do a fix and flip, to do a rental, to do a loan. Have all your income come back to the IRA and none of it be taxable.
Hang on real quick. So the laws and the rules are the same whether your IRA is with any custodian, whether it be Fidelity or Ameritrade or with Quest. It's the same type of IRA. The rules are the same, where the proceeds or the profits are tax-free and you can start taking those profits out when you're 59.5. Is that right?
That's correct. Now,
Okay.
we use the term self-directed. That's made up. If you ever hear the term self-directed IRAs, it's actually a marketing term. We use that term because Fidelity gets to sell you an investment. They get to sell you an annuity or a mutual fund or a CD, right? But Quest, I don't have a property for you to buy. You got to go find it. You got to go find that borrower if you want to lend the money. You got to find that single family home, that rental property, that fix and flip. You need to find it, and that's the self-directed aspect.
Now, can someone have both? Can someone have an IRA with Fidelity for stocks and then an IRA with Quest for real estate and notes and other assets like that?
Not only can you, but usually you should. Now, I'm a terrible example of this because almost all my money sits on the private side because I'm a little bit more of a control freak. I like to control it, right? But if you think of diversification, I want to have probably true diversification. I want money on the public side and on the private side. This means I'm not affected by the market in the same way. If the stock market crashes, my private assets are still here. If the real estate market crashes, my public assets are still here. Once again, I am a terrible example of this. I have almost all of my money on the private side only because I like to be able to touch my assets. I like to feel them, see them. I like something tangible like real estate. So
I don't blame you. We don't have any loans with you, but we'd love to explore that. And in fact, I did a little research, and RJ and I have over $5 million of private capital working right now. And 67% of the capital is coming from people's self-directed IRAs. And lo and behold, they're actually with Quest. So the way people actually practically use this, and by the way, I want everyone to know, when the stock market crashed, Derek and I did another call, it was about a year ago, and I rolled over an amount of money into the stock market back when it was, in the pits back about a year ago. And now I'm selling all that stock. We had a big bull run, a big V-shaped recovery in the stock market. And I'm unloading all of it and rolling it back to Quest now to get back into real estate. So right now, me personally, I am absolutely selling. I'm getting out of the stock market and just back to the fundamentals of real estate. The only reason I bought into the stock market was because it crashed. And it was very easy for me. So the stock market crashed. I had some money with Quest, rolled it right over to TD Ameritrade, bought a bunch of stock. Now I'm selling that stock, and it's all tax-free. All the profits are tax-free. And I'm putting that money back now with Quest. But why is right now a great time to contribute to a self-directed IRA?
So we're coming up into the last month of tax season, okay? Now, if you live in certain states like Texas and stuff, your tax deadline might have been extended. But for the most part, we all know the tax deadline is April 15th. This means right now, you can still put money in an IRA for 2020, okay? Remember that our retirement accounts, you can only contribute, now not earn, you can earn from investments as much as you want, but you can only contribute so much money each year.
And how much is that? How much is that, Derek?
So if we're talking about like a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, it's usually 6,000 or 7,000, right? Yeah. Depending on your age. So if I have a traditional IRA, I could put $7,000 in there right now and take a tax deduction potentially for it. That's not bad. Now, if you're self-employed, you can set up a SEP IRA still for the year 2020 and contribute up to $58,000 to that account and take that as a tax deduction. How many people right now are sweating because they're like, man, I have to pay some taxes coming up. So what they do is they file for the extension to delay it as far as they can when they didn't even realize, dude, you could put that money in a SEP or a traditional IRA, take a tax deduction instead of paying the IRS. That's a huge advantage. So
you're telling me the contribution to a self-directed IRA with Quest Trust is 100% tax deductible?
So this depends, right? Now, other factors that can be taken into play are certain tax deductions you might have already taken, or if you have a super, super high income limit. As an example, if I make $1 million a year and I contribute to a traditional IRA, I'm not gonna be able to take that as a tax deduction. However, if I make $1 million a year, I can probably still contribute to the SEP IRA and take the $58,000 tax deduction. So that's still pretty unique. There's so many different accounts out there, and everyone's going to be in a different position. Everyone will be in a different point in their life and make a different amount of income and take different tax deductions. So I always tell people, if you're curious or you don't really know, give me a call, because we could talk about your personal situation, figure out whether or not, well, what does qualify for the tax deductions and what doesn't.
So if you're making the RJ Pepino money, it's not going to be tax deductible if you're pushed out of the tax bracket.
Probably not in the traditional IRA, but it will be with the SEP, the SEPI.
So what was the $58,000 tax deduction that you?
So a lot of self-employed individuals, right? If you're self-employed, you don't work for Walmart or Amazon or anything like that. So you don't have a 401k, right? You don't have a company paying into it. So the IRS created the SEP IRA, which literally stands for self-employed pension. So since you don't have a 401k or anything like that, you can set up a SEP IRA and contribute up to $58,000 a year to this. Now, when you make this contribution, it actually doesn't come from you, it comes from your company. All right. So your company is really the one contributing to it, meaning your company is really the one taking that tax deduction. Now that's okay, because you run the company. You still pay yourself from the company. It's still your business, and your business needs tax deductions.
I had no idea. I'm actually taking notes. I am not kidding. I'm writing this down as always. You know, there's value coming from Mr. Derek Long from Quest Trust Company. So we're headed into the last month of tax before tax season starts. So we want these deductions. And you're telling me a large portion, depending on your income, of what you contribute into an IRA. Is that all? Is it just the SEP IRA that gives you the tax write-off, or is it like, because I know RJ and I, we have personal, self-directed Roth IRAs, but then we also have inherited IRAs. So you explain that?
Yeah. So the first thing, we're talking on the Roth. I do think the Roth is one of the most important investment tools that not enough people utilize, okay? And it's because of the things we've been talking about so far as the tax deductions. When you put money in a Roth IRA, you don't get a tax deduction. But the reason why is the account truly grows tax-free, okay? As long as you're willing to wait till you're 59 and a half. Right. Now, the traditional IRA, which is the reverse, you put money in, you get a tax deduction, but it grows tax deferred. You're deferring your taxes till you're old.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the SEP IRA, you're not contributing. The company is. Now, I know you're the employer, but you're also the employee. So you gotta, I always say switch hats. So when the employer makes a contribution, the employer takes a tax deduction, because they don't just give their employees free money, right? That's a tax deduction to them. And this is why they do it. Now, what if the employee, take your employer hat off, put on the employee cap, says, you know what? Thank you, employer, for giving me a $20,000 contribution. I would like to convert it over to the Roth. Now, when you do this conversion, you have to pay the taxes at the employee level. But you're playing both sides of the fence. You took a tax deduction over here and you paid the taxes here. So what happened? It might not be a dollar for dollar wash.
It's a wash, yeah.
But it's pretty damn close.
Right.
So a lot of people don't realize this. So someone like yourself, instead of contributing $6,000 to the Roth, which you can do, in addition, maybe you put $20,000 into the SEP, took the tax deduction at the business level, but pay the taxes on it at the employee level by converting it to the Roth IRA. What did you do? Indirectly, in a single year, you just put in our example, $26,000 in a Roth IRA. It's pretty cool. Now, you can do this all the way up to that $58,000 limit. You can actually put in, if you paid yourself enough money, $58,000 into the SEP. take the tax deduction here, pay the taxes here, and move the $58,000 into the Roth.
And if you're just joining us, we have with us here today Mr. Derek Long from Quest Trust Company. We have all of our self-directed accounts, not only IRAs, but we're getting started with self-directed HSAs, which are health savings accounts. And Derek and his team at Quest Trust Company, you can reach Derek at derek.long, and that's spelled DERRECK .long, LONG, at questtrust.com. RJ, so RJ has a little baby at home. I mean, what can RJ be doing right now with his child, or somebody who has children, Derek? I mean, can you set up these accounts for your children? Or, yes. I mean, yeah, what's a good play here for somebody who has children?
So there's two types of accounts you can set up for a kid. All right. The first one, believe it or not, you can set up a Roth IRA for your child.
Nice.
Right? But if you want to set one of these up, you do have to give them earned income. Go pay them to do something. All right. Now, what's nice about it is the Roth IRA has some hidden benefits that a lot of people don't realize. When you make a contribution to the Roth IRA, your contribution's always after tax. So this means you can remove that money anytime, tax-free, penalty-free, no questions asked. It's a savings account. Are you really putting it away in a savings account more than $6,000 a year for your kid? Some people might be, but normally not. So if I want to set up a Roth IRA, I think it makes more sense than the savings account for your kid, because you can shovel money in there. And if they need to pull it out, or if you need to pull it out, you can. But what's really unique is when you invest this money, it grows tax-free. And did you know you can pull out a portion of the earnings plus the contributions for college?
No, I did not know that.
So not only can you use the Roth IRA for your kids' college, right? But you can also use it as a savings account as they move along.
So it's almost like a proxy, kind of like a Coverdell a little bit. The Coverdell is the CESA account, the college. Is that right? College education.
So it stands for, it's pretty much just an education. They call it a Coverdell education.
Yes, Coverdell education savings account. So I didn't realize that, there's some flexibility with a Roth IRA for a child's education. You hear that, RJ?
Yeah. Now,
so is it possible to go from one, like a self-directed IRA and then convert it and then go back? Is that allowed?
So remember the term self-directed, it's made up. It's bull. It really is. But you can always move a Roth IRA to a Roth IRA, or a traditional IRA to a traditional IRA. That's not a problem. However, there is one other account your kids qualify for, and that's what you just mentioned, Dave, was that ESA, that Coverdell Education Savings Account. This, unfortunately, cannot move into a Roth IRA ever, okay? But it has some unique advantages that no other account does. You can treat it like a Roth. When you put money in, your contributions can come out any point in time, tax-free, penalty-free. But you can only put in $2,000 a year. The reason why is when you invest this, all the earnings are tax-free when you pull them out for school expenses. So what's a school expense? Most times you're stuck up on tuition. But it could cover things like backpacks, school supplies, laptop computers. Lately, we have seen people be able to leverage to pay for their home internet because their kids are having to do everything on Zoom, computer programs. So all the way from kindergarten to the age of 30. If we listen to the Roth IRA, it was only for college. Okay. So believe it or not, I always try to push people more towards the Roth, because normally if you have a younger child, they're not going to have too much school expenses that are going to hurt you very much, right? You're like, yeah, I spent $3,000 this year in school expenses for them, between uniforms and all sorts of other stuff. Meh. But I don't know if you guys have kids, or if you know someone kids that have been in college. College is expensive. It is stupid expensive. So I think the Roth IRA makes more sense in that standpoint, but it's up to you.
So the reason college is expensive is because the government subsidizes college tuition. Therefore, the college with colleges which are privately owned jacked up the tuition. Why would they not if it's free money?
And I can't believe I'm going to say this on your guys' recorded video, but
that's another conversation, Derek. But
yeah,
I got a question for you. Oh, go ahead, Derek.
Oh no, go ahead.
So RJ's able to set up a self-directed Roth IRA for his daughter as long as she's getting earned income, like W-2 income. Is that correct?
Sure, W-2, 1099, Schedule C, pay or something.
Got it. Yeah, well, maybe that's another call of how to. We'll use his little daughter. What are some of the things you've seen on how we can compensate this young child?
The two most popular I've seen is modeling, right? So, right. Oh, my daughter modeled for our scrapbook that we have for the fix and flip when we took the pictures.
There you go.
Okay. Another one I've seen a lot is stuffing envelopes, right? I've seen a lot of wholesalers pay their 5-year-olds, right? Because their 5-year-olds are stuffing the envelopes for them.
I love that. Oh, we'll definitely get her stuffing envelopes as soon as she's old enough to fold paper. RJ, what questions do you have for Derek as we kind of wind this down?
No, so the other one that I was questioning was that HSA, and how much can you contribute in an HSA, Derek?
So the HSA is really, really unique. It's actually one of the best and most powerful accounts in the US that is almost never utilized, okay? So the reason why it's the best of both worlds. In the HSA, when you make a contribution, it works like a traditional IRA where your contribution is taken as a tax deduction. That's pretty cool. Now, how much can you contribute is based off whether you've your insurance that you currently have, if you have other people on the insurance plan, or if it's just you. So usually if you're married, right, you have your spouse and your kids on your insurance plan. And if you're under the age of 55, the max contribution is $7,100 for the year of 2020. Okay. Now this went up by $100 in 2021. So it's $7,200 this year. Okay. Now, when you pull the money out, it comes out tax-free like a Roth, assuming you used it for a medical expense. Now, what's a medical expense? Obviously, sure, when I went to the doctor, but there's so many other things that it covers that people don't realize. Your glasses, your contacts. Lately, it's been able to cover hand sanitizer and Kleenex, face masks, Tylenol, your multivitamins. There's been thousands of cases where people have used their HSA to pay for their gym memberships. Like, what? Oh my God.
I know, it's crazy. What about the dentist?
Yep, dentist visits. So what it is to, and all this comes down to how you qualify for an HSA, because you do have to qualify for one. You have to have a high.
What about the chiropractor? What about the chiropractor?
It covers a chiropractor. It also covers acupuncture.
What about massages?
It covers massages in certain cases. So you have to be considered an athlete.
I mean, look at RJ. Have you seen him? Have you seen the? Yeah, I mean, we're athletes over here. Very interesting. We want to maximize. We want to create as much revenue as we possibly can in favorable tax environments. I think that should be the goal of every entrepreneur and real estate investor, because I mean, heck, I don't care if you're red. I don't care if you're blue. The government's too big, and the government is going to tax the snot out of you. It doesn't matter which political party. We got to hang on to as much money as we possibly can. So with that being said, Derek, how do people contact you?
So the easiest way is just to give me a call. Now, I'll give you a 1-800 number because it's easy to remember, but it's a non-automated line, and it's 855-FUN-IRAs. But if you just want my direct line, it's 281-492-3434. And I don't know if people get your chat box and stuff down here, but I'll put that down there. If you do email me, and my email's there on the screen, the derek.long, that comes to my cell phone like a text message. So I'll see your email, just as easily.
And again, that email is Derek, DERRICK.long, LONG, @questtrust.com. RJ, bring us on home, brother.
Thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon, Derek. Appreciate you. A lot of useful information. But you know, in today's environment, this is where you should be putting your money because of inflation and what's happening right now. Prices are going up. It's good to have real estate assets, right, Dave?
I'm pulling out of the stock market, guys. I think it's such a good play to get the money out of the market, the equities markets, and I'm going self-directed. I'm getting ready to send you guys a ton of dough. I'm going to keep a little bit of exposure in the equities markets, but honestly, I mean, I want to know what I can control. It comes back to that, Derek. And RJ and I are active real estate investors, as you heard and know, like we do this every single day. And the yields. So, okay, I invested some money in the equities markets and I made about 125% since 1 year ago. And that's fair. RJ and I's IRAs, and I don't say this to brag and sound cool or no, it's just because we know how to operate real estate and this is what we teach our followers. We're up over 800% with the IRAs. So you got to go with where you're going to make the most yield and the best bang for your buck. And there's no better bang for your buck than working with real estate. And the way you work in a tax protected environment with real estate is with a self-directed IRA. We use Quest. We love Quest. We appreciate you guys. Always there for us, always taking our calls. That's what you need. Let me tell you something. I call TD Ameritrade. I'm on hold for 35 minutes. I don't have a personal contact. Quest does a great job of just really providing good service. And like I mentioned, the yields in real estate right now, that's where to be. Like RJ mentioned, I mean, come on, inflation's inevitable. Look at the prices of commodities. Look at what's going on right now. You know, in real estate is where you want to be. You want to own assets, and stocks are way overpriced right now. I mean, everybody could pretty much agree on that. So with that being said, open up a self-directed IRA or a tax-protected health savings account or education savings account with Quest Trust. Derek, it's been a pleasure having you on here today. And
I love you guys. I love your team. I'm here to help anyone on your team out. I'm easy to get a hold of, guys. So just let me know what I can do for you. RJ, Dave, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
This has been a presentation of The Cream, and we'll see you on the next video. Guys, just hang out for a few minutes.